Hi, it's Norman Koshnik here for Eyes on Cricket with Norman Koshnik. I'm actually sitting here in Coogee in Sydney, and I've gone through a number of the English papers and some of the Indian newspapers as well about the second test and the ramifications of that match, specifically around the reaction of the press on how England didn't do as well in the second test as they did in the first, and obviously India improved themselves out of sight. Very interesting in the Fox Sports in particular around the world. They've talked about the incident with Kevin Pietersen. He was trying to be funny. He actually spoke in Hindi. He wrote in Hindi about the match and the result, the way that India went. And there's an article here, and in particular from one of the former Indian players, Wasim Jaffer, who basically hasn't played Test cricket for 13 years, but he's still got it, as they say. He was saying that Kevin Pietersen was trying to be funny, as India great demolishes KP. So Indian great being Wasim Jaffer talked about KP's comment, England in perfect tweet after humiliating loss. So the heading is, trying to be funny, Indian great demolishes KP, and England in perfect tweet after humiliating loss. So effectively, Wasim Jaffer is having a good old go at Kevin Pietersen, attempting to speak Hindi. It's kind of a cheap form of publicity for himself, and that's one of the things that happened. So effectively, the former Indian opening batsman played his hand at cricket's favourite off-field sport, that is, destroying Kevin Pietersen on Twitter, because Kevin Pietersen has absolutely often been quite outlandish on Twitter, and in this particular case, Wasim Jaffer absolutely nailed it. Responding to a cheeky tweet from Kevin Pietersen, written in Hindi, as I said, regarding India's series levelling win of the second test. Jaffer managed to destroy Pietersen and England in one devastating swoop. He said, watch every test and you'll be able to see the results as they were, which is quite funny and rather sad at the same time. So Pietersen's tweet read this way: Badhai ho India, England B ko harane ke liye. Translating to, congratulations India, you beat England B, which is a bizarre comment, hardly England B. Jaffer came back with a belter. Initially appearing to take KP's side, Jaffer then zeroed in England's history of leaning on South African-born stars such as Kevin Pietersen to be successful. Don't troll KP, guys. He's just trying to be funny, Jaffer wrote. And I get it. I mean, it is even a full-strength England team if there are no players from South Africa. And that's quite a few players, as you know, with Pietersen. Even Australia with Labuschagne's got a number of South African-born players in the team. And the classic was, of course, Kepler Wessels back in the day, who played for both Australia and, obviously, South Africa. There was a lot of discussion around India winning the second test against England by 317 runs, and as it happened was clearly Ashwin's efforts. He was significant, the likes of Rohit Sharma. In fact, really, a lot of people say that Rohit Sharma, in the press, actually, he was probably the man who really affected that win. Obviously, Ashwin did fantastically with 5 wickets in his century, but the 161 by Rohit Sharma to start the innings certainly had the impact that it needed on a pitch that really was wearing from ball one. So again, other headlines here from Yahoo, which is another platform. India beats England by 317 runs in the second test at Chennai. Very straight to the point. India seek revenge against England as crowds return for the second test. That's a way I've certainly done. The predicted 11 for the second test, well, I talked about Axar Patel, and the fact that he ended up taking 5 wickets. Even Kuldeep chimed in with 2, and obviously Ashwin with 8 in the whole match. It's quite an amazing amount of press about the win. Straight to the point, England were beaten by 317 runs compared to the 227 in the first test. So 317 runs is a massive victory for any side. So the papers have been quite heavy on that, favouring India completely, subtly having a go at England. Now, this is Norman Koshnik here in Australia, reporting on the papers around the world on the second test. This is, again, Eyes on Cricket with Norman Koshnik, and don't forget to view, like and share, and ultimately provide me comments and feedback. We'll be able to get onto those for you and reply as soon as we can. So thanks for subscribing and keep viewing. Grow this channel. Not forgetting, of course, that we've got the IPL mini auction on tomorrow, the 18th, and we'll be able to provide that some live commentary as to all the 8 teams and their changes and who they're actually looking at taking on. I mean, the likes of Maxwell and Smith are in that lot. quite a few players. Well, Faf du Plessis, of course, has retired from Test cricket. Maybe he's more available for the IPL. So stay tuned. This is Norman Kochnick for Eyes on Cricket with Norman Kochnick.